Buongiorno, everyone. Welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV. We are unfortunately not live in the brewery again. We are. We're slacking. We're slacking. We're flagging. We're everything because
It's lifting.
yeah, Keg's American COVID's been hanging around for weeks now. We've been in and out of the brewery. Well, not really in it, to be honest. It's been a while. It's been too long. I'm missing the place.
I know.
To be fair, really missing the
This
place.
shite.
Oh, at least you've got a beverage. I'm being responsible. We had many drinks over the weekend there following the success of the Jerry and Sewell show, which obviously stopped me from being on here last week as well. What with dress rehearsals, Wimbledon games, Keg being full of Donald Trump's COVID. It's been a madness, but we are back online. And then next week, we'll be back in the brewery with actually a special guest, which I haven't had time to tell Keg about yet.
All right, I sound that. All right, no worries.
I'll tell you about it off air, and we'll build it up anyways, Keg. And I'll
just make sure you tune in next week for that special guest, because they'll be dead good.
It's going to be a surprise guest for Keg as well, so we'll wait and see for that.
Just don't even tell me. I'll just tell him next week and just say who it is.
I see who it is. We'll get your guesses in the comments who it is. It should be a Bella. Honestly, I've just sorted that out today. Things have been manic as always. Things at Newcastle United, manic as always.
That wasn't a hint there, was it? That wasn't a little bit of a pun there, was it? A little bit of a teaser, was it?
Oh, was it? Wait and see, huh? Wait and see on that one. But you're thinking national break, things look quieting down, and then everything's coming out about all the Premier League rules, Man City. We'll get into all that. And as the title suggests, we'll start off on the St. James's Park stuff. And there's plenty of it. Lately, we're hearing things of a complete rebuild on the site of St. James's Park. So that's the latest. Obviously, there's still rumours of Leazes Park and extensions and everything else. There's loads going on. It hurts me head even thinking about it, never mind getting into it. But make sure you pop your thoughts in the comments, what you would like to see happen, what you think's going to happen. And before I do run through that article, Keg, and many others, reports about Newcastle United looking at a complete rebuild rather than just an expansion, what do you think?
If the new stadium or just the development ideas? Because
where would you go with it? I'm giving you the once in a generation check. What are you doing with it?
Because we briefly touched on it last week, didn't we? And then all the kind of development stuff came out, but I'm just kind of on the fence, really. I don't know, because as I said last week, like I don't want to leave St. James's, and I'm sure people probably would have seen your interview with Alan Shearer during the week as well. Like I kind of share his. If you haven't, so look, man, will you? So yeah, like I've kind of share his views in the sense that like St. James's is historic. And I know a lot of people have said, like, oh, what with all the fucking trophies that you won there? Like, oh man, give it a rest, man, will you? It's more like memories and like good times and stuff, like Barcelona and PSG and all the other like good games and stuff that we've had over there, like over the years. Like, obviously, way back in the day, like St. James's Park was the first stadium since Newcastle was united. Since Newcastle United was formed, St. James's Park has been the first place. We have won a lot of trophies. It was all in black and white, like I didn't even think my fucking dad was born then, but it was a long time ago. But we have won trophies, and there's a lot of history and a lot of memories there. But it's more kind of like personal, like kind of like my own kind of memories of like going there, like with my dad and seeing Shearer and like the sort of 90s era, the Bobby Robson era, like St. James's Park is Newcastle to me. And I couldn't imagine life without St. James's Park. Like, it would just be so weird to be without it. So I've always, since the takeover happened, and with all the I think as soon as the takeover happened, there was immediate talks of a new stadium or at least an extension. And I've always been on the side of extension. Extend St. James's Park, make it as big as possible without moving camp. And I know that's been a big issue because of all the listed buildings around St. James's. It is going to be difficult. So yeah, I've always been on the side of extend and stay. But recently, I just think because of all the FFP bollocks and PSR and all that shite that comes with it, like all this financial stuff in football these days, it is difficult for Newcastle to build a revenue. And while 52,000 is a big stadium, or at least it was 20 years ago, and I think this is what brought us onto the conversation last week, like once Everton Stadium's built and Leeds get their extension, we're going to be the 10th biggest club stadium in the country, obviously not including Wembley or the Millennium Stadium or at National Grounds. Like clubs, like only Old Trafford was bigger when I was growing up. Only Old Trafford was bigger. Now you've got Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, West Ham, Everton, and Leeds, as I just mentioned. Right? City, I don't even know who else. There's probably a couple in there that I'm missing, but yeah, like we're meant to be this new big powerhouse. Like with the Saudi takeover, everyone was shitting their pants that Newcastle were going to be this big new powerhouse and going to be signing Mbappe and Haaland and all that shite. But with the revenue that Mike Ashley left, like we just haven't got any, and we haven't got any players that people want to buy other than Gordon, Bruno, and Isak. That's it. Like they're the only people that we can make money off of. So yeah, 52,000 is great, and we sell it out nearly every week, if most weeks, if not every week. But what would be better is if we could obviously put more bums in seats, and I know we will do that, and it will be like the Geordie faithful as well, like more money, more seats, more tickets available for Geordies. I know, like I haven't been to many games. I don't actually even think I've been to one game this season because I can't get a fucking ticket. But yeah, like there's obviously going to be more tickets available, and with the big teams like your cities, you're going to get some new plastic fans and tourists coming over. So we will sell it out, whatever the size of the stadium, whether it's 60, 70, 80, we'll sell it out. I ain't got a problem with that. But yeah, I think like a big, sexy new stadium that you can do other things with, because St. James's doesn't really get a lot. We had Sam Fender there last year, and I think Ed Sheeran was there a couple of years ago. We've had one England game in the past 15 years, and I think England rugby's been played there once or twice. But people normally go to Sunderland, and that's the bad thing. Like, we need to be better than Sunderland. Like, we need to be able to put events on. We need like big events, like maybe it's like a NFL international game or a big concert, like a big superstar. Because I didn't really like the setup with Sam Fender with the stage being like on a slant, like in the corner. Like I thought it looks a bit shit, to be honest. Like I think having like a proper big stadium to have like big international events, it obviously bring more money and revenue and stuff to the city. Like people will be getting more jobs. The economy will be better if we've got a bigger, better stadium with more tickets to sell. So yeah, I don't want to move, but I think economically it's the best thing to do, unfortunately. But where it is, I don't know. Obviously, Leazes Park's the big one. If you can kind of knock half of St. James's down and kind of build it in the Leazes corner bit, like I don't know. Like I think it's going to be a long time until anything's actually done about it. But whatever happens, and I'm kind of easy either way.
Well, that time frame is going to be early 2025, is when the feasibility study stage 2 will be officially released. So by the start of next year, February, March, we should know what the plan is, whether that is to extend the current St. James's Park, whether that is to completely rebuild the current St. James's Park, or move to a brand new stadium from the ground up. Nobody really knows. There's lots of talk about what might happen, who's in talks with the council, the freeman of Leazes Park, this, that, and the other, NDAs being signed and whatnot. I've been told a million different things in the past few days. That's why I haven't really wanted to make another video on it. Did it last week, and I could have done another one. Like loads of people are banging out the videos about St. James's Park, like one stadium video every 3 hours. But it's just like, how many times can you repeat yourself, and how many different things you want to put out there? I wouldn't want to really say anything until I do know well enough, really, rather than Derek telling us that it's happening and then Mary saying this is happening. I'm getting told different things every couple of hours, to be honest with you.
I don't listen to Mary.
Yeah, don't believe Mary, Harry Mary.
Nout.
But do you believe these reports? They're not allowed to put these out there for the people, and for those listening, you can get our podcast on all audio platforms as well. This one was from the Telegraph, and it's reached everywhere now. As in the title of the video, the current trendy thing, the current thing that people are saying now is that it will be a complete rebuild of St. James's Park rather than just an expansion. And as part of a major redevelopment of the surrounding area, that would bring far more than a new football stadium. So like you've just said there, NFL, concerts, boxing, whatever you want. There has been a long desire from the new ownership to stay at St. James's Park by expanding that. They don't want to lose that city centre location.
Nah.
But the proposal right now being considered is far more ambitious, and it would involve the construction of a purpose-built state-of-the-art stadium on the existing location. Telegraph Sport revealed for the first time that should Newcastle decide to stay at St. James's rather than move to a new site, which does remain under consideration. So kind of just contradict themselves in the same sentence. They haven't playing it safe. Margaret, Barry, Derek, all got all the opinions in one. The project is far grander than initially thought. And you got this by Brad Miller, Newcastle CEO, last week saying, it's a once-in-a-generation check. They don't want to regret this decision years down the line. They need to make sure they get this right. And that all kind of pointed for me towards a new stadium, because there was even rumours, that it would cost $1 billion to expand St James's to 8 to 10,000. That's the same that Spurs paid for a brand new stadium.
If you're going to spend $1 billion, you might as well get a new stadium. You're not going to put 20,000 extra seats in and a bit of fucking spit shine just to make St James's Park look sexy.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense to, get some fresh grey paint on the go and whack another 8,000 seats on there for $8 grand for $1 billion for 8,000 extra seats. To get the capacity up to 60,000, you're never going to make that $1 billion back for a long time. Do you know what I mean? It's not really going to benefit us by doing an expansion on there. But obviously, this idea of building a new St James's, a complete redevelopment of it, if you like, on the site, does kind of meet halfway between the two. So the idea would be to completely reconstruct the current stadium, not merely a rebuild, expand, and modernise the Gallagher End and East Stand. So they're talking here again, the cost is going to be in the billions. It is believed that whatever the final decision, which is expected to be made public early next year, the new stadium will be a state-of-the-art multi-purpose venue at the heart of a redeveloped city centre, because all the question marks are there saying, where would Newcastle play in the meantime? Where's the stadium going to go? There's no space anymore. We've lost out on the arena site. We've lost out on the quay side. We've lost out on other locations, such as maybe Leazes Park and all the complications that come around that. So what you're looking at now probably is a bit of a clever manoeuvre of there's talks of knocking down the both multi-storey car parks that are there at St James's at the minute, the one where we film a lot of our videos on, the rooftop, moving things around, knocking them about, and pushing it slightly, really, maybe slightly into Leazes Park, or just being smarter with how you raise up the stands and that. And I think that's probably the best bet right now for me.
Yeah, I agree. I seen that image. I can't remember what angle it was at, but you're kind of building the new stadium into the current stadium. I think it's into the Leazes stand, so maybe it's for half a season. You're probably gonna end up playing with 3/4 of your stadium. The Leazes end is probably going to be pretty much knocked down, for the building to kind of go around it, and then eventually, probably when the season ends, you're going to knock the rest of the stadium down so you can finish off the last little bit of the new stadium. That's what it kind of looked like to me, and that might work. So you don't need to move somewhere. We'll probably end up bloody sharing bloody Stadium of Light at this rate. That's the next biggest stadium, isn't it? That's the only kind of it sounds illogical, but logical at the same time. It's the nearest biggest stadium to her. You cannot put them at fucking Gateshead or bloody Kingston Park.
I've got one for you. This is what we should be doing. The pop-up stadiums they use for the World Cups. Bloody hell, Qatar had them all, didn't they? Build them out of shipping containers and IKEA flat packs. I mean, that's what you need. One of them ones where you can literally knock them up in months. So just knock them up. It was very common early in the 2000s where, if you notice, St. Mary's Stadium, the King Power, these type of stadiums, they look the same. Stadium of Light, to be fair. They're all just the same four stands, the same things popping out the sides of them. They're dead easy to build, especially the Qatar World Cup specials. So I would do something like that, whack that somewhere for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's all just kind of options and kind of Chinese whispers at the minute. It's all just kind of people's opinions, but what we're actually going to do, it's anyone's guess at the minute. No one really knows what the plan is. I say it's going to be another year until the part 2 of the talks take place. So yeah, just gonna have to see what happens from there. And yeah, like I say, whatever they do with it, I do think a new stadium would be great, but it's kind of where. And one of the big cons to a new stadium for me is one of the main reasons that I would like to stay at St James's Park is you see all the other new stadiums and they just kind of lack atmosphere. I think West Ham's the prime example. Upton Park used to be right up close to the pitch, proper intimidating atmosphere. Quite a small stadium, but a proper old school classic stadium. And now at the Olympic Stadium with a pretty big track around us, you're miles away from the field. You kind of create an atmosphere. Same with the Emirates to Highbury. and the Etihad to Main Road, like
Mm.
all these big new stadiums, Tottenham Stadium to the White Hart Lane, like they're all great ideas and they look fucking good. Like I can't deny it. Like Tottenham Stadium's absolutely sensational, but are you gonna lose a bit of like like obviously you're gonna lose your history, but you're gonna lose like a bit of like your atmosphere, a bit of like the culture. Like can you like recreate the Gallagher end? Like how do you recreate the Gallagher end? Like how can you bring and I know, like, with the help of War Flags, we'll make a pretty good go of this. Like, I know we'll probably do a better job of it than some of the other teams that's moved into bigger stadiums, but still, like, that's just one thing that I'm worried about. And as I mentioned before, like with tourism, with more seats, you're going to be able to like with the way that the club's going to develop, it's always going to happen. But you're going to get like foreign fans and new fans, like plastic fans from Manchester or London that be like, oh, I really like Newcastle now. I've always liked Newcastle all my life. You fuck. like, it's just like all them bloody Chelsea fans back in the day and all the Man City fans now, like, oh, did you grow up absolutely loving Chelsea and City? Did you? Nah, anyways. Like, it's just going to be the same. So, yeah, that's just one thing that I'm worried about getting a big stadium, A, atmosphere, and B, new fans. Like, I just think it's just one thing that I'm worried about. Like, there's obviously a lot of pros to it, like with obviously more money, more revenue, like more bums and seats. Like, it's going to like bring a lot of money, a lot of like jobs and stuff, like with the concerts and the other sporting events and like things that you can do there. Like obviously that's what Seller do. Like Seller put on performances like PIF. Like that's why all like the boxing and UFC and stuff's always in Saudi and stuff now. Like that's what they do. They bring things here. If we've got a big sexy new stadium that can host them, then they'll be bringing them nearly every bloody month, man. Like Newcastle's gonna be absolutely popping.
You make the point about new stadiums compared to the old ones, and I think there's no better than looking at the next team to get a new stadium, which is Everton. You know, the Goodison Park atmosphere, which completely put Anthony Gordon off, gets under a lot of people's skins, fans, players, and managers. And you look at the stadium they're moving to now, proper generic FIFA stadium. You know, there's no
It'd be hard
special
to create
about
an
it.
atmosphere in the championship now.
Exactly. Well, we hope so. Hopefully, we send them down. Last game of the season. That would be bittersweet. Not bittersweet, just totally sweet. Symphony. You know what I mean?
Absolutely sweet.
Poetry. But Goodison Park, compared to that new one that they're building, it's worlds apart. Like you're massively losing that heritage and that close to pitch, awful, rough atmosphere. Really, to be fair, you know what I mean? No one's really enjoys playing there. And the new one, it's fine. Just looks like a generic FIFA stadium from the German World Cup. You know what I mean? The blue stands. Now it's special about it. Now intimidating. Gushty. Gordon puts that penalty away in Ebola. But back to this then. Finishing off the article, they mentioned here that a reimagined St James Park would be comparable to Tottenham Hotspur's White Hart Lane project. There's been plenty of internal discussions about a new stadium and the options available should they move. The council, which would have to grant planning permission, has not been involved. So the construction phase of the project is still a long way off. Also, after the side note here, bear in mind, we are hosting the Euros in 2028. That'll be around year before we know, 3.5 years, really. So how quickly can you get that sorted? The council's view appears to be particularly significant, given fresh impetus has been given to another possibility this week, initially revealed that the building of a new purpose-built stadium behind the current stadium on the site of Victorian-era Leazes Park. Leazes Park is obviously a conservation area. It would be controversial to build on it because it's historically a significant green space in the heart of the city that the club have had no discussions with the council about. This option appears odd, given that they would need to know the city were willing to at least consider allowing them to build there. So this whole thing about let's just whack a big, massive new stadium in Leazes Park, and build another green park somewhere else, keep all the hippies happy, and then you can crack on with it. But they haven't even been consulted yet, so that suggests that that's out of the way, to completely overtake it. We know obviously Leazes Park and the surrounding areas are protected. There'll be loads of opposition to getting built there, just like Sir John Hall had it back in the late 90s. He tried to build a new stadium there. That got rejected, didn't it? Although the club could offer to build a new park area as part of a larger redevelopment of the city centre. They keep talking about this as an avenue to go down to keep everybody happy, that they then redevelop the surrounding areas as well. It's not just a pop-up stadium, mint, 75,000, class, we're all happy. Football fans and other people, the hippies, may not be happy. So then they would make them happy. Put other things in there, spruce up the area a bit, modernize it. Like what we thought Salah might do when they first came in, to be fair, like they have done in their countries and around other things. May I finish this off quickly on this article then? The space is there to expand behind Leazer's End, but again, you have to get the permission, and nobody's going to know about these permissions either, because you can try and do your research, you can try and ask the questions, but all these people are going to be heavily involved in NDAs and not allowed to speak on it. Because imagine, the ruckus that would cause if someone was like, I was in the meeting, this is what's going to happen. You're never going to get that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell such and such what's going to happen. So we know that the council still hasn't been consulted what planning permission would be willing to grant. Although we do know, actually, I can't say that. I won't say it. Something I found out the other day about it's not for you. I'm not getting done, right? I didn't sign an NDA, but I'm not getting Newcastle Native stressed that a final decision is yet to be made and all options remain on the table. So even though the full article has said it's going to be a complete rebuild of St. James Park, they've ended up rounding it up by saying, actually, could be anything. So there you go. What we do know is that the PIF from Saudi Arabia has revealed a plan that promises the best economic return in terms of match day revenue and a multi-purpose venue to host other large events, as we've talked about already. And the club also pledged that supporters will be consulted before a final proposal is made. The next stage of the once-in-a-generation project is expected to be announced early next year, but that may be a public consultation with the two potential proposals shared with the council and supporters. So we should know at least. I just can't wait until it's out in the open and we actually know. So we can just be like, right, do we talk about it now? Can we get behind the new stadium? Do we talk about how the expansion is going to work or what? Because there's just so many questions and different alleyways you could walk down here, man, isn't it? Does your head in?
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty good, bloody minefield in it. Like this, yeah, you don't really know, unless people's gonna say what. I was just thinking, what happened to the supporters groups? Were the getting Ashley out thing? Did they just kind of fuck off once the takeover was done? Because I was these I remember we sat in a meeting, didn't we, in the Strawberry?
I tuned for change. They changed it to something else, didn't they?
Yeah, I think there was a couple of them, wasn't there? There was 2 or 3 organizations, but some of them got sit-in meetings and stuff, I'm sure, and then told the fans what it was, because obviously that was no communication actually from the club, under Mike Ashley. But certain people from certain organizations got to sit in on meetings and then kind of fill the fans in on what was said and to present questions and stuff. But yeah, since the takeover, I think they obviously that was the main point, to get a takeover. So I think with the takeover, they probably just thought there's no point in this group anymore, really, is there? So they might have just fucked off.
I think they changed to something else, but I can't remember what they're called. But it was obviously the fan advisory board was in there last week with Brad Miller, Newcastle United COO, who's leading this charge of what happened next to the stadium, and that's when the club released a statement saying that the feasibility study is complete, but we're moving on to stage 2 now, and we'll be able to release it properly in early 2025. So this is a good question though from Brooke09. What capacity do you guys think we need? Keg, you got to pick a rough figure for the new stadium or St. James expansion?
I mean, depending on what we do, really, because I know you can maybe only extend sort of far, but I think 80,000 is a really nice number. I think it's a very round number. And it would make with a bigger stadium, and unless Old Trafford develops, because I think Old Trafford's about 76 or something is the biggest stadium at the minute. So yeah, I think that would be classic. Obviously, that's massive. I've seen a comment up there before saying apparently you're not allowed to have a stadium bigger than the National Stadium.
That is bollocks. Someone said that to me because
I was going to say I didn't know that were the rules. But obviously that's what 90,000 in it. Wembley's about 90,000, so obviously you're not going to get bigger than 90. So yeah, I think 80 is a class figure. It would make with the biggest stadium. Do we need to go that big? Probably not. So I think maybe 70, 75 is nice. That's absolutely sound. But yeah, I think 80 is a really good number.
Yeah, I like 80. Yeah, that because another YouTuber, right, said that you couldn't have a stadium bigger than Wembley a while ago, and it's complete nonsense. If someone can direct me to a link where any sort of proof of that, I would love it, because people were saying that to me loads when I mentioned it in a stadium video 2 years ago, mate. And there's not one single person that can tell me or show me where that is evident. The FA website, Wembley's website, any website on Google, not one other article in the world says it. So I don't know where that person got it from, but it's just totally incorrect. And Old Trafford is meant to be getting redeveloped up to that much as well, isn't it? And it will do, because they could easily sell it. But no, I like the 80. and people say to me, and you got other journalists saying, "Oh, you don't need that many. Don't need that many. You wouldn't sell it." We just sold out.
I think you would.
St.
You don't
James's.
need it, but it'd be fucking nice. I think we could sell it.
Well,
Why not?
we do need it for FFP and PSR, so it would massively
Yeah.
help. We sold out St. James's Park with a week's notice on a Tuesday night against Wimbledon, League Two Wimbledon. And you're telling me we can't? Because that's the worry where some journalists are saying it and some people are saying it, where we won't be able to fill the stadium if it's Crystal Palace, or you'll be able to fill it when it's against Man City. But can you fill it on a Wednesday night at home to Everton? Yeah. Most definitely can. Because there's that many
most stadiums when we're in the Championship.
There's that many members that are waiting for tickets. There's that many people that would buy a season ticket. There's that many people that would come for general sale. There's people that would fly over. You could easily do it, man. Easily do it for me. I think that would be a good number as well.
What's Spurs?
62 or something, isn't it?
62, is it? I don't know. Because I feel like it looks bigger because obviously it's state of the art. It's spent $1 billion on it. Like, it's absolutely sensational. I think one end of it is bigger than Bournemouth Stadium. I think one end's about 12,000 seats just in one end. Like
that one that goes up like that, isn't it?
Yeah, the one behind the goal, with the cock on top.
62,850.
That's mad. I feel like it's a little bit bigger than that, but then again, it's a big stadium. But yeah, could we get bigger than that? Like, could we get like a bigger, better stadium than Spurs? I don't know.
No, I think we should be going for bigger than 62 in a bit. Like, well,
that's why I thought theirs was bigger. Because I think we could definitely fucking sell that out. No worries. But yeah, I just thought Spurs looks bigger. Because what's Old Trafford, about 76 with a potential development on the way. I thought Spurs could have had the potential to make theirs bigger than Old Trafford, but they're still a few thousand off. Yeah, I think we could easily go over Spurs and maybe match Man United, if not beat it.
Yeah, I think so as well. So that's enough bloody stadium talk for now, right? You can get your questions in. We'll fire them back towards the end of the show if you've won it for the last Q&A, but we've done nearly half an hour on that there, and that's why I don't make a video about it every 2 hours. So, onto the actual football then, right? Onto the actual football now, okay? Because I actually, for the first time in years, didn't do a match reaction after the Everton game because we were at the theatre for the Jerry and Sewell play. Obviously, that was the final night, the final show.
Mm-hmm.
What a great week it was there at the Theatre Royal. Amazing to see, a local story told in such a big stage with local actors. It was fantastic. Shout out everyone that came along and for all the nice comments, messages, and all the 10 out of 10 reviews. And that's been amazing. And there's already talks of something bigger and better happening again in the future. So that's amazing, absolutely amazing. Shout out Jamie, the director, and Jack, Dean, all the actors involved. It was incredible. But we were actually we had the matinee that finished at 2:30, 3. Then we had a gap until about 7ish for the final show. So on that night, we went to the pub, watched the match, managed to watch about an hour of it or so. And then we went to the theatre and they actually had the commentary on. So we had the BBC Radio Newcastle commentary for the last 10, 15 minutes of the game in the theatre. Unfortunately, we didn't get to celebrate any goals going off or anything. But there was no time for match reaction afterwards. And then afterwards, I thought, it is. We'll have a couple of days and then we'll come back to on the podcast tonight. So we'll talk about the Everton game now. But before we do that, I want to talk about stats, right? Because Newcastle United in the Premier League so far this season have been struggling in the attack stats. So goals, 13th on the table for goals so far, 8 scored, not the worst. Expected goals, 10th. Shot conversion, 11th. Oh, them on too bad. 15th for shots on target. The 15th worst side for shots on target so far this season. We're only, we're 8 games in. And again, big chances, 14th. Possession, 1 in the final third, 15th. So, stats aren't everything, but those stats aren't great, highlighted by Match of the Day there on BBC. But I wanted to say, Keg, that's obviously, not helped by Isak being missing the last couple of games. But does that worry you going forward? A bit of shyness there in the final third?
It does a bit, but I do know that we have got the quality. Obviously, when everyone's fit, like I say, like Isak's a massive part of us getting any shots on target. And him not being there for the last couple of games has been a little bit shite. And obviously, Wilson hasn't played a game this season as well through injury. But yeah, I just think the whole season's just been proper weird. And like, just performances have been crap apart from City. Obviously, City was good. Tottenham wasn't the best of performances, but still scraped out the win. Same with Southampton against adversity of losing Shaw quite early on. Awful game, but we scraped it out, got the win. So we've showed a lot of resilience, but not a lot of quality. The only time that we had shown quality was against probably the best team in the world who managed to scrape out a point. But it comes back to the whole like organization type thing. Like, what's going on? Is it a Howe issue? Was it a Mitchell issue? Was it a Ashworth issue? Was it a Stavely issue? Is it the players? Because like the performance has been shite. We haven't played well all season long. We had a stat the other day, a couple of weeks ago, where we had like more than 100 shots on target faced or something like that, which I think was the most in the league. Like, so both ends were getting shot on. Like defensively, attacking, it's just boring, isn't it? It's just been a proper struggle this season. It's been a difficult watch. Like, but other than City, I haven't really enjoyed any game this season. Like, it's just been proper, just dragging yourself through the mud. And we've only lost one game, which is the maddest thing about us. Like, you would think like would be bottom of the league with 9 points the way we're going on. But yeah, we've only lost one game. Got some well-deserved points and some well-deserved wins along the way, like Southampton, like Spurs, like City. But yeah, what the issue is, I still kind of put my finger on it. Said that a few weeks ago, and I still don't know. But yeah, we do just look just very sluggish, like all across the field in every area. I think like some of Tonali's passing the other day was a little bit poor as well. Like sort of like middle, the final third, the back third. Pope. It's just been a bit of a shite season, just all around.
It has, and we didn't want it to be doom and gloom, but it's true. On the pitch, it just hasn't been great. We're pleased, obviously. I think where we are on the table is decent. We're actually the same points we had this time last year. Someone compared there with the goal difference being a little bit different, but even when Isak was there, even all season, there's just been now we've been relying on Buddy Harvey Barnes' scream, hasn't that, to get out of it. And then you thought, right, Man City turned a corner there, great, we're firing now. And then Wimbledon, I know there was changes, but that was awful. Everton, I thought Everton was a bit better, like away from home especially. It was a better performance. It was a bit more controlled. Thought Dan Burn had a good game. But with Bruno and Joelinton were a lot better than they have been at times as well. But the Barnes was very quiet. Gordon was never on it. Looks like he really shies away from that and kind of handle that Goodison heat. I look at what happened throughout the game. May as well talk about Gordon now then for that penalty miss. I was sitting there watching it and I was thinking, do not let him take that. Do not let him take
I was just wasn't that confident.
How long it was taking as well, and how much it was building up, and he was doing all the deep breathing, and he talks about that, and he did it before the City one. It was just, for me, it was daft letting him take that because there was too much rain on it. If you just give Fabian Shaw that ball, there's hardly any booing. There's not much emotion involved. It's not a big deal. Like the way they celebrate that, I've never heard a crowd celebrate.
Oh, that petty people, that petty fan base.
They are like petty toffees.
Yeah.
But for that and against Pickford as well, and Pickford, what he's like against us and the SMB chance and all the rest of it. And I just thought, nah, I'm not feeling this. Like I didn't like him stepping up at all, even though he scored one the week before. It was just an awful penalty. There was too much riding on it. Shaw scored one against Wimbledon. Even that wasn't a great pen. Sent the keeper the wrong way though. But Shaw personifies coolness, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So for me, he wouldn't have been asked. He was like, my Scouser's booing is not asked. And the Scouser boos would have been 95% quieter. So I think we've got that wrong. Like, I mean, fair play at Gordon wanting to step up and having the balls to do so.
Talked a lot of bollocks,
But I just was never confident in him stepping up there. Like,
nah, me either. As soon as he picked the ball up, I was like, because this is going to be a massive moment either way. Whatever happens, if he scores, then we go mad, he'll go mad. The fans, the Everton fans will begin ballistic, or he misses, and then the Everton fans go ballistic on another side of things. And yeah, I think Gordon's head was kind of gone after that. Like, I just don't think he felt confident stepping up. It was a poor penalty. Like, my take on penalties. I fucking hate people just like stroking the ball like Shaw. I hate his penalty technique. Like, and any player that's like, I respect the coolness of just like waiting for the keeper to move and then just kind of like rolling it in the net. Like I respect how cool and confident and the size of your bollocks to be able to do something like that. But I hate it. I just like the old Shearer, just smash the fucker in the corner. Like if you get it right, if you put enough pace on it and get it enough into the corner, keepers just aren't saving it. But like if you like Gordon's shot wasn't very hard. Like it was a bit harder. It was like hit a bit truer than like a sharp penalty. But still, it was nowhere near the corner. It was a brilliant height for a save. Like it's just a guessing game then. Like if Pickford goes the right way, or even like the Wimbledon keeper, if he goes the right way, he saves it. It's a 100% save if he goes the right way. So it's just a bit of chance. Like if you hit the ball true, then the odds are with you that you're going to score, even if the keeper goes the right way. If you hit it hard and true into the corner, they're not saving it. Just fucking hit your penalty. Like it's just always been a thing that winds me up. Like Mario Balotelli. Like Balotelli had like 100% conversion rate, and it pissed me off royally because like, he was just one of them that would just stroke the ball, just give a little tappy, just give a little taparoo, like just hit the fucking ball, man. Like just winds me up, like absolutely boils my piss when people kind of take a penalty right. And yeah, Gordon's penalty, it was shite. It was shite. It was good height, not enough pace on it, not enough into the corner. Terrible. Yeah, but like I said, I think that confidence, the stage, the size of obviously Guzman Park, the Everton fans, his history with them. Yeah, it was a terrible choice. Even if it was Shaw or Bruno or anyone, yeah, just Gordon shouldn't have been that guy.
Put your laces through it like Big Al says, you know what I mean? Smash it. We obviously, I've talked about Brian Mbeumo. I really like him. He's got an amazing start of the season now. Yeah, but just on penalty techniques, he scored one the other day and he did the proper awful Nancy run up. Yeah. But when he put it away, I was thinking, wish we had him at Goodison Park on Saturday. Tell you that.
Yeah, you wouldn't have missed that.
We're going to talk about strikers in a minute, Asula, and where the club went wrong in the summer for me. But I have to mention the one moment that had me in more disbelief than Gordon's penalty was Bruno's off the line and how the hell that didn't go in. Honestly, man, we like bounced up, went off the heel and then went out. I couldn't believe that didn't go in. And from that moment, you're probably thinking, it's not going to be our day.
Yeah, looks not on our side today, no.
No, wasn't at all. With the Gordon thing as well, then, the thing around Goodison Park and how much they hate him and all the stuff that came afterwards, all the mocking of him, especially from the official Everton admin. What did you make of that?
Because he got a lot of sad cunts, as I said.
Even Jamie Carragher, fellow Scouser, came back to him and said, meant to be the people's club. Do you know what I mean? You're coming out and berating one of your former players who was there for 10 years, kept you up. And to be fair, Everton fans, you should be thankful because the 40 million we paid for Gordon wasn't for that. You would have been a mess, financial absolute mess, more than you already are. Do you know what I mean? So save the club, really.
Yeah, and Carragher's an actual blue. Everyone thinks he's a red because he played for them, but he grew up a blue. Right. So even if one of your own's like slagging you off, like it's like this petty, sticky toffees, horrible bunch of scouse mackums. Fucking can't stand the cunts. Like,
I've never liked toffees, man. Like hate toffees, sticky, chewy.
Not the hard ones like the Werthers that get stuck in your teeth. I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
But what we did on what did you have something else to say there on that one?
No, I'm pleased to interrupt this because I forgot what I was going to say.
You enjoy that? Yeah. I move on to that next segment, which is we actually tried three of the different players, three wingers down the middle. Gordon, Almiron, Murphy, Bonds, they all had a shot. 3 or 4 of them as being the number 9. Whereas we spent 10 to 15 million on an actual striker in the summer, William Asula from Sheffield United, and he can't get on against one of the worst teams in the league with even 5 minutes to go. And we're crying out for a vocal point. What's going on there? No, like seriously, what is going on there? Because it's a good job I didn't do a match reaction because I would have went a bit mad on that one for me because I just think, listen, Eddie Howe, Tyndall, Jones, all those down there on the touchline know better than me. They know why he's not coming on. He's obviously not ready, right? They obviously don't trust him to be good enough against Premier League opposition. He started against Wimbledon, had 1 or 2 moments. Now of real note, they obviously think, but why spend when we're crippled by financial fair play, 10 to 15 million on him for the future, a future potential player, when we know how much we need another striker, when we know Isak and Wilson get injuries, and lo and behold, what's happening right now? Both of them were injured, both of them were missing. and we haven't learned over the last couple of years to replace him or get someone in as backup. And you've got him on the bench, and you're not even giving him a run out. 5 minutes, even. You know, flick it on, win a corner, maybe even score from a corner, maybe even just have a fluke shot. Like, what's going on? Why can't you chuck him in and give him a chance?
Yeah, I really don't understand that. And, you know, like having 3 strikers was something I banged on about all last season. Like I was dying for a 3rd striker. Like, I thought selling Chris Wood the summer before last and not bringing us another one in was just an absolute, like, I just cannot understand that decision, to be honest. But especially when, you know, Wilson's got his injury histories and Isaac isn't the cleanest either. Like he can pick up an injury. Like he's been pro to them since he signed here. So yeah, signing a 3rd choice striker was a huge priority for me. Not necessarily like a world class one. Like, I didn't need anyone to come in and replace Isaac necessarily. Maybe it's not even necessarily Wilson. Just someone comfortable, a young prospect, or someone who can come and like develop here. A few names got brushed around. Some good ones. I think obviously Wilson-esque replacements like Jonathan David was linked, and Christ knows how many others. We must have spoke about them loads in the summer. But yeah, Asula was a weird name, not one that I've got to be honest, I've never even heard of the kid before. Like I didn't know where he came from. He was never one of the ones linked until it was almost like a done deal. And then yeah, like his stats came up, and he hadn't scored a goal in, was it 28 or 29 Premier League appearances? Like 21 years old, I think he was. It's not like he's like 17 or nothing. He's not like just coming through now. Give him time. He's 21 years old. He's played Premier League games before. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird signing for me. 15 million, decent amount of money as well. But it's clearly kind of one for the future. Someone that you can hopefully develop quickly, because like I say, he's 21 years old. He's not a teenager. Like he's up there. Like, he's part of like the senior squad. So yeah, like just signing him in the first place was weird, but having him on your bench, like I say, when Wilson and Isaac are both out, he probably should be starting. And I get like Gordon's played down the middle before. He's a bit older and more experienced and can score goals. But I say to not even come off the bench, like I'd be banging on the door to start me. Like the second Isaac went out, I'd be getting to Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall, be like, how? You know, I'm this 3rd choice striker here. Your first 2 choice strikers are out. So I'm playing on Saturday, am I? All right, no worries. I'll get my boots laced up. Then to find out that Gordon's playing in your place and you can't even get off the bench, I'd be fucking livid. But quite clearly, he's not ready. Like, there's obviously something about him. It feels like a bit of a weird one because we didn't give Sheffield anything. But I feel like that was just like a PSR thing to help them out. Maybe kind of like the way that we bought Odysseus off of Forest, like in exchange kind of for Elliot Anderson. Like that was kind of we only took Odysseus. We didn't want a fucking 9th choice goalkeeper, but we got one anyway. We spent about 20 odd million on him just to kind of balance the books. That's kind of what it felt like with Asula. I feel like we didn't really want him, but we bought him anyway. But
which is
like,
strange.
he's on the bench when we haven't got what 2 choice strikers, and he kind of get on. Like just something stinks there for me.
It is another stinky deal, that, because I'd never heard of him. And it's not one that I talked to Sheffield fans at the time, and even a Danish journalist, and he was saying, like, honestly, mate, I'm not really sure why he's went for him. Like, he was under 21 Danish. It was not like he was breaking through into the Danish national side, and they were lighting up the world, and a few people looking at him thinking, boy, who's this kid? Yeah, he's going to be a talent. You know, no one was really looking at him or thinking about him. And listen, obviously, we'll hope that on the training ground they can improve him, and in years to come, he might become a decent striker, hopefully. But this is the point I'm making. We can't be buying for the future all the time when we need ready-made solutions now. We know of Isaac's record. We know of Wilson's record. We can't be like, oh, well, we're going to get him for 10 million and hope that he's good in 4 years' time. We cannot wait 4 years' time. What about now? What about Everton away last week? We've dropped 2 points. That could be the place costing us a European spot in the season. You know,
and the fact I mentioned he's 21, like you haven't got time. Like
he's
going to be the next Jesse Lingard at this race. He's going to be a fucking 27 years old, and everyone like, "Oh, give him time. He's still young." He's not. He's 21. Like he should be like he is a first team player. Like I say, if he was like 17, 18 or something, I could be like, "Oh, I give him time. He's fine. Just have him develop." But yeah, like we didn't sign anyone to improve our squad. Like we got Kelly on a free. He's the only experienced player who can start games, and even then he's a bit questionable, but at least he's a squad player. Like Asula, we spent money on, kind of get a sniff of a game. and like Odysseus, he's down the depth chart with Ruddy, and that was it pretty much, didn't they? Did we sign anyone else? Like, we just made no improvements in my squad over the last 2 windows.
Yeah, and Dave's saying here, and I like this one. I was going to bring him up myself. Could have had Delap. Look at Liam Delap at Ipswich. He looks quality, man.
Class.
The strength, the finishing. You know, he's the type of. I think it was around the same fee as well, was it not? I can't remember how much they paid for him, but you know, that's a player where they're thinking he's at Man City, he's banging him in for them as potential. Obviously, not going to get the Man City team. Who's going to go for him? Those are the type of players. If you're going to go for youth, then you can for him, and he can be an understudy. There's not much to say. There's loads of faith in Asula, or even when there's injuries, to give him a chance. And to be making the same mistake over and over again, to do it last year was criminal, especially when we had Champions League, not getting another striker in. But to not learn from it and do it again this year, and, you know, as people are saying, yeah, to still have 2 goalkeepers on the bench. That was last season. It was like, well, we've got 2 goalkeepers on the bench because we've got 15 injuries.
Yeah.
This year, it shouldn't be like that. 2 goalkeepers on the bench, man.
Definitely not.
And knee strikers. It's absolutely berserk. Absolutely berserk, man. Honestly, fucking hell. I don't need to take Shearer away from the golf course and stick him on the bench. At least give him a job for a few minutes. Bring him on. Shola was there on Friday now. Shola, get him on. And these strikers, how can you not just find a bloody Shola and Miobi? That's meant to be third choice these days, or a young'un to come on and do something.
Nah, I know. Even like some of the young'uns, like a Sanusi, like someone like that. Like, why is he not getting a spot on the bench instead of bloody John Ruddy?
Exactly. What are we really going to get that many injuries that we need? That many people,
Ben Parkinson come off the bench a couple of times last year. Like again, like, what could he not start? Like, he came off the bench against fucking Chelsea or something last year. Like, could you not have brought him off the bench against Everton?
It's worrying that there isn't anybody in the academy that, like you say, Parkinson, or like back in the day, we always joke about the old Sorensen, who now fair play was at Portsmouth. There's not at least someone who you think's banging the goals for one of the youth teams and think, well, you know, it's desperate times. Yeah, I've got knee strikers. I'll stick one on the bench, give him a few minutes to run out, see what he can do. It's very worrying for me. Like, and it is another failure. It highlights that failure that was the summer transfer window. Never mind not strengthening the 11 and getting in a right winger, or getting in a Margay or another centre back. It's that same problem that's been there for years. You know what I mean? And that's why I always said, get him Buemo, because right winger, and then he deputises as the striker for when Ivan Toney was out through suspension. So, you know, anyways, that could be on your rant. We'll keep that till January. In other news, we are going to be Adidas Elite Club next year. Yeah. We're finally being revealed to be elite enough. We're going to get the old Treefile logos in. There it is. Treefile logo, if you're watching live. If you're listening on audio platforms, I am pointing to the Adidas Originals retro kit that got released the other week. And we will see that Treefile logo on third strips next season. Like Arsenal, Man U, Juventus, and that have this year, there's going to be another few clubs added to Adidas's Elite Club list, which means we will also get long sleeves, like these bad boys as well, the Treefile logo, and apparently a few other benefits. So... we're an elite club according to Adidas. Let's stop the acting like one. Sign some fucking forwards and more players, man.
That should be the deal. Adidas would be like, you're not getting your special kits unless you sign a fucking good striker, right?
Yeah, so unless you have a striker that can play a match. Yeah, that would be good. But that's good news anyways, isn't it, Keg? Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really mean out, but it
looks good. Though.
Looks good. Yeah,
kits will be nice.
I wondered that when all the other ones came out, like in the summer, like when all the new kits, like you say, like Adidas, was it like Juventus, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, like they all like had theirs released. I was like, where Adidas? Like, why didn't we get that? I didn't realize it was this elite club thing, which I think is bollocks. To be fair, like if you're a sponsor of Adidas. Like, why have you got to be in this elite club? Like, I kind of feel sorry for those that aren't in the club. Like, at the minute, we're not in the club, but we're joining the club. Like, what a load of shite. Like, just make the fucking kits and just slap the old logo on and be happy. I
mean, that logo is sensational, by the way. It is lush. Like,
it is nice. Like, that's why I wanted it when I seen like the other kits coming out. I was like, well, I want that. So I'm happy we're getting this and we're in this elite club. But that elite club thing's what a load of shite.
I think they've obviously just seen the shirt seals and the tracksuit seals and the hoodie seals from the Adidas Originals range and thought, we are missing a trick not having this on Newcastle stage shit. Never mind if they're in the Champions League or not. Just give them it. We're going to make a few more billion. So there it is. The Treefile logo, long sleeves, will return to Newcastle United.
That'd be nice.
Next summer will be very nice indeed. Okay, then. Now, I did a video on this a couple weeks ago when it was rumoured that Man City were going to win a case against the Premier League for unlawful judgment about their sponsorships. Obviously, they restricted Man City from getting deals done with affiliated companies or what businesses from, Yabi Dabbies and that, where their owners are from. Came out yesterday. It's caused an absolute mayhem online, and loads of people are obviously talking about it. I just couldn't even be asked to read about it or
No.
look about it yesterday, to be honest with you. And everyone's making 7 videos a day about it again, just like the stadium stuff, and everyone's reading out repeated articles, the journalists with paywalls behind them, so you can try and read them and get into it. But in essence, Man City have won their lawsuit regarding sponsorships. They are unlawful from the Premier League, deciding how much they should be able to charge sponsors for sponsoring the club, the stadium, the kits, whatever. And there was also a big deal, obviously, about how 5 days after Newcastle's takeover, that new rule was enforced. And it was rumours that, Tottenham were the ones behind it. Loads of clubs, every club pretty much signed it saying, yep, stop Newcastle from getting big sponsor deals, stop them from increasing the revenue, stop them from signing any players, stop them from being able to compete and take over. Basically, which is mental when you think about it. Really unfair. Absolutely shocking stuff. But what did you make of it all then, Keg? And the thing that people are looking at now is, will this allow Newcastle to now just bring in a Saudi sponsor and get 100 million a year for it? Or are the Premier League, who are apparently as well on top of all this, now going to hold an emergency meeting next week with all clubs, void it all, right? Oh, we got it wrong, but sorry, going forward, still the case. No sponsors for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's most likely what's going to happen, especially if it's going to affect Newcastle. Of course, they will, like, emergency meeting right now because they just love fucking out of Newcastle. It just seems to be like what they get their shits and giggles over. Anything to do with Newcastle, right, let's get that sorted. But no, I didn't really read into it either. I couldn't really give a shit. And I'm not surprised at all because it's Man City. Like, I think we just knew from the get-go, as soon as there was any kind of talk about City getting fines or points deductions or relegations or something, I was like, they'll not, man. It's Man City. They'll not get out. And like the Premier League's corrupt as fuck. Like, so I'm not surprised. I knew they would win, but I haven't read into it because like normally when this kind of stuff comes out, like I'll read about it on like the Sky Sports app, but it makes no sense. Such and such from this 3-letter organization said this, this, and this, and then some chief executive from Man City who I've never heard of said this, this, and this, and none of it makes sense. And you got Darmisheth trying to explain it on Sky Sports, but he might as well be speaking fucking Latin. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it all means. I don't give a shit. Like, as long as the Eels or Silverstone or whoever's in the front running, as long as they understand it, I don't care. Like people like Man City are going to get their way. The Premier League's corrupt. So yeah, I started to read the article. I wasn't going to bother, but I knew we were going to mention it on the podcast. So I had a little look. I thought, oh, I'll see what it's all about. I read the first paragraph and I thought, I couldn't care less. I couldn't give a shit. It does make no sense. Like 3-letter like abbreviations. Like, it's quite funny because I predicted that beforehand. So I'm kind of like I'm pretty much saying what I kind of rehearsed this afternoon. But so I went through the article trying to find out exactly like what it was, and I was absolutely spot on. Like APT.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, the associated party transactions. That's the 3-letter abbreviations that I pre-said before I read the article. Something that I've never heard of before in my life. So associated party transactions, APTs or APTs, and it's Man City's General Counsel Simon Cliff. He's the Man City person that I said I wouldn't have a fucking clue who he was. He said this, this, and this. Cliff said this, then the APT said this, and the APT's done this, and the APT's rule from 2021's. They're like, what are you tired about, man? Shut the fuck up.
Just give me a couple of bullet points.
Literally, that's not what it means. I don't know. I don't care. Man City's corrupt. The Premier League's corrupt. I couldn't give a shit.
The problem is that nobody does really know. So everyone can speculate and talk about this and put tweets out and put videos out saying, "Oh, now Newcastle are going to spend 400 million in the next window and be able to, get Mbappe because he's not doing well at Madrid." Nobody really knows because the Premier League are going to hold meetings. They're going to change things. They're going to probably put in new rules again. What I will say is that I hope it obviously helps. It should help. It should prove that these cannot stay in place because I don't get how these articles are coming out saying that nothing's going to change. Yeah, it was unlawful. They apologise to Man City. They probably owe them a few bob and whatever. But yeah, the rules are still going to be there. Well, how can they still be there if you know that they're unlawful and they weren't correct practice? Because then now Newcastle should be sitting there ready to go with a training ground sponsor, 40 million a year, the Seller training ground. And then we should be ready to go with the training ground, the training kit sponsor on the bibs and on the jackets and everything. Aramco sponsor, we'll have that 35 million a year. All this, we'll have to be sitting on these and ready to pull the trigger. But what I will say is that I think Newcastle need to start going for the Premier League more. Newcastle need to have more balls and get out there like Man City have. We just seem scared and we're still acting like the little man here. For me, we need to take them to the cleaners. We need to go for it because as I think it was Aaron mentioned it above there. The statement where they were mentioning Gulf owners and the Gulf region, you shouldn't be able to get sponsors from there. They kind of be down on it, man. They kind of also sorry if you get a sponsor.
Sponsors.
Yeah, so if you've got an American owner and they want to sponsor it with bloody Wendy's, you know what I mean, and that's fine. But if you've got the Saudi sponsor or
the Saudis have got their fingers in like every pie going, like Apple and it's like Starbucks and Disney and McDonald's and bloody all sorts. Like the Saudis are everywhere. Like you can't like have a sponsor that probably doesn't have ties to the Saudis. So you're wasting your own time here. But I feel like the Premier League are just stupid. They're just a bunch of twats. Like I don't get all these rules because like, you're stopping it being fun. Like, do you not want competitive? Like, do you not want all eyes on the Premier League? Like, other players are just going to go to like PSG or Real Madrid or something like that. Like, all these rules, like these last 2 transfer windows were absolutely shite. The January transfer window, the most exciting signing was fucking Timo Werner on loan. And I cannot even think of a big signing even in the summer Premier League window. Like, I don't know who was the biggest money or best signing in the summer window. No one exciting for me.
Tell you what, Ivan Toney chose to go and play in Saudi for more money because there was no happening here. Do you know what I mean? Because
would the Premier League not rather have Mbappe come to anyone? It just seems like they're so set up to have like City and Liverpool and Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham succeed that it's like, would you not want Mbappe to go to West Ham or Everton or anyone? As long as he's in the fucking Premier League, what does it matter? It's like when West Ham signed like Tevez and Mascherano, that was mint. Like, why do you not want the best players coming to the Premier League, regardless of whatever it is? Like, it's almost like the NFL, the MLS and stuff, like the salary cap stuff that you can only have like so many players earning like a wage over such and such. Like, just if Mbappe wants to come and play for bloody Stockport County, fucking let him. Like, what does it matter? Like, I feel like the Premier League and like with the streaming things, like every other sport, like the MLS included, the NFL, like boxing, UFC, they've all got like an app, like a streaming app where you can watch every game or every fight, every event. The Premier League, you can't watch your own fucking club on a Saturday. Like, they're so far behind the times. You can do it in Australia, the Middle East, America, like every country in the world has better access to the Premier League than England. Like we're the worst team we're the worst country in the world to watch our own fucking league. Like they should be up with the times and have like a streaming service, pay a monthly or yearly subscription to watch every game with extras like Premier League years or something like stick on or the 100 goals club or whatever. Like make it fun. Like, but it just seems like they're so interested in not making money and making the league fun that fine, Mbappe will just get to PSG then. Like, fuck him coming to Newcastle or anyone else. Like, the Premier League's an absolute joke. It's an absolute waste of space.
The Premier League is too big now for it to be run the way it has for so long for me. You know, Richard Masters and all that. You know, you need an independent. Gary Neville said it loads of times. It needs to be run by an independent person now. Like, it needs to be impartial. It needs to be somebody else. And someone needs to take a hold of it and change these things. Change those daft rules. Make it competitive. Allow us to actually spend again. Everything's outdated now. The whole FFP thing, that it just doesn't work. That's why teams can't spend anymore. You know, you can't have nice fancy signings coming in and making it competitive, and it's the same old teams all the time challenging for the league and all that. Now it can happen there. Do you know what I mean? Now it can happen, and the whole streaming thing is for another discussion. It's a shambles. It's an absolute shambles, really. All you need is that that kind of pass that they have abroad in American sports, the kind of Netflix streaming service how we haven't got something like that, and it's still the same old crap. It's just we're just
Yeah,
stuck in like 20
that
years ago.
blackout rule was literally made like about 100 years ago,
Yeah,
like before TVs were even fucking invented. Like,
yeah.
what's the crack with that, man? It's absolutely pathetic that you cannot watch your team on at 3 o'clock.
It is. It's awful. But we are an hour deep into the podcast, so we will finish off on a Q&A. So get your last couple of questions in there before the chat has some questions for us, Keg. International break is upon us again
Oh,
already.
great.
Yeah, I'm actually delighted. To be fair, I could do with the break, so
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
Yeah,
But
I'm a little bit sick of Newcastle this season, to be honest. Like, just watching these scruffy games. Like, yeah,
I think the break is actually
it's
going to
come
be
at a good time.
beneficial to us because obviously we hope that Isaac and Wilson are going to come back for the next game there. Brighton at home week on Saturday, and we can continue to improve. Do you know what I mean? We can hopefully get back to that Man City performance that we had and get some consistency going there. So that works well for us. Hopefully, no injuries on international duty. Anthony Gordon. It will be all right. But England take on Greece on Thursday night, Keg. I'm sure you'll be glued to your television watching that one.
I've already got it set up.
Recording that one, eh? Got the VHS in there ready.
No, aye.
Well, I was speaking to Shearer about this, Keg. You said you'd seen the interview. I asked him, does he think Eddie Howe would leave for England? He just shut it down straight away.
Yeah.
And he was saying that Lee Collins is going to get a job anyway. Little scoop there from Shearer. Everything does point, doesn't it, to expecting an announcement for England just to go ahead and give Collins on a full-time basis?
I think that was always kind of set up anyway. Like, I know, like, even before Southgate announced he was leaving, like, multiple times during the Euros, we had conversations like, should Southgate leave? And if he does, who's going to replace him? Then once he did leave, who's the candidates? Like, how? Like, Pochettino, Graham Potter. But I think deep down, I always knew it was going to be Lee Carsley because that's where Southgate came from. Southgate came from the under-21s, and say Spain just won the Euros with their ex-under-21 manager. Like, it seems to be like the continual growth. And like, well, Carsley's not a sexy name. Like, I remember him playing for Everton next to Thomas Gravesen, the two Baldies in centre mid. Like as a manager, other than obviously, I didn't even know where he came from. Obviously, I know he won the Euro, the under-21 Euros with England and done an absolute cracking job. Didn't concede a goal throughout, and I like it because it's like it gives like a fresh take on it. Because we all knew like Southgate was there for 8 years, just picking the exact same team for 8 fucking years. Everyone's been 34 years old, like bloody Jordan Henderson. It was just getting boring. So yeah, at least Carsley knows these young'uns and like the prospects who need to come through and just give her a bit of a fresh change with some young blood. So yeah, like I think Carsley was always the top candidate for me. As much as he isn't a sexy name, like yeah, you'd rather have like whoever else, like Pochettino or something like that, or Mourinho, like a big sexy name. Like it's attractive, but no, I think Carsley probably is a good choice. And it makes sense, obviously, that he got the interim job. But nah, I think they're just kind of keeping the options open at the minute, kind of seeing what happens. But I think Carsley kind of is always the favourite to get it anyway.
I think all the work that's done at St George's Park and the progression of managers, like you said, Southgate got it. We've just been beating off Spain, who had their progression from their youth levels coaches and that. And and Ian said it there. It's an FAS boy, isn't it? Carsley's going to be just delighted to be in there, saying yes to everything, getting on with it. But what we'll see about Collins is at least he is acting like his own man. He is picking some players that haven't been in the fold before for England. Angel Gomez from Lille and Gibbs White, and that was called up, but I think he's pulled out injury. He isn't just picking your bloody Hendersons and your Maguires and Rashfords. Yeah. Seen a good start today, which is a nice little dig towards Manchester United. The first time since 1976 that there hasn't been a player included from Man U, because Kobe Mainoo pulled out through injury. So
wow.
Yeah, there's no Rashford, no Maguire. Obviously, back in the day, they always had people in there, your Nevilles, your Beckhams and that. But now,
but if
there's
you
only one United in the Prem.
Makes so much sense. Like, because that's shite. Like, they're in the bottom half of the league. But yeah,
Southgate would still be picking Rashford. That
Southgate would have Maguire in. Like I said, just be the same old shite. But Jesse Lingard would be in there and all. Like, obviously back in the day, like obviously they had some players like obviously like Beckham and Scholes and Gary Neville and people like that. So yeah, like obviously Man United's been one of the best teams in the Premier League since its inception. But yeah, no, they're not. So yeah, you're picking your best players now. Like Rashford's done out. Maguire, I mean, he's alright, but he's a bit old now, isn't he? Like just get the new blood through, like get the players that actually deserve a spot. Like Rashford's just been kind of holding a spot, obviously for the past 8 years. But I respect Carsley for like doing his own thing and bringing his own guys through, and not like kind of conforming to like the big six and just being full of the United, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool players.
It is beautiful though that we have 2 English players included, Anthony Gordon and Nick Pope, and Man United have 0. So that's a nice place to end on after we get your score prediction, Keg, for the game against Greece on Thursday. So Carsley's looking to impress once more. He had back-to-back 2-0 wins in his opening fixtures as England interim coach. Greece on Thursday night at Wembley, 7:45 kickoff. What we're seeing, I think 2-0 again looks pretty good, to be honest with you, but just thinking with it.
Yeah, does Stelios Giannakopoulos still play?
Oh, he was a legend, by the way. Bolton legend, Stelios.
Yeah,
I used to like him.
I can't even think who else they've got, to be fair. I know they had someone that played for Celtic, didn't they? I can't remember, with the long hair. Samaras, that was Giorgio Samaras. I don't even know. Who they even got now? Got a Chimikas? Tabizas. I don't even know who Greece have got at the minute, to be honest.
No,
so, yeah, I'm not really threatened by Greece. So yeah, I think comfortable win, 2-0, as you said. Yeah, I think that's a good, realistic, possible score.
Yeah, I like a 2-3-0. And then we've got the mighty Finns.
Odysseus, man. Any Odysseus Vlachodimos?
Oh, aye. Oh, yeah. He's going to prove his 20 million worth.
Clean sheet.
Clean sheet for Oddy. Yeah. 1-0 Greece, whoever plays for them. Odysseus. How could we forget our 17th choice goalkeeper? Yeah, I mean,
is he 1 or 2 for Greece? Is he even going to start, or is he going to be?
He's number 1.
Their second or third choice now.
Maybe the only time we're seeing him play in England this year, to be fair. So, yeah, good to see him. And then, like I say,
you're
we'll
going to
finish things off with Finland on Sunday at 5 o'clock. That is away. Causey's first. Is it his first away game, I think? Both of them at Wembley last time. Oh, no. Played Dublin, didn't he?
Islanders away,
game, I think. Pretty much home from home, though. Guinness and that. Finland on Sunday. Who's Finland got these days? Who's Finland got? Pukki? He's still gone. To Andre Flo? He's still gone.
Is he not Norwegian?
Was he? Oh.
I don't know. He's one of them Scandinavian kind of things, whatever it was. I think he was Norwegian. I don't know.
Finland. We played Finland. Oh, yeah, we only played them a couple weeks ago, and it was September. That's who they...
What was he called that played for Barcelona in the 90s? Absolute ball. Ajax and Barcelona. What was he called? Finnish. Oh, that's going to do my head in. He was an absolute baller.
What, Finnish legend there, is he?
Yeah. I'm going to quickly...
Anthony Niemi.
Anthony Niemi. Is he not Scottish?
Finished. Litmanen.
Yuri Litmanen, aye.
There you go. Ian got it there. Litmanen. England away to Finland. I'm going to go 2-1 England.
I don't know. I kind of feel a little bit... I don't know. Do I feel better about Greece or do I feel better about Finland? I'm not too sure. Either way, like neither of them are very impressive. So yeah, I feel like I say 2-0, 3-0 should be comfortable wins. I think the second game will probably rotate a bit. That is the kind of like typical way that we do things. Maybe it's like it was Greece first, isn't it, and then Finland. So yeah, maybe 3-0 Greece, 2-0 Finland.
Good stuff.
With some changes in the second game.
Causey gets disappointed. House stays in Newcastle and win a trophy this season. Lovely. We'll see. We'll wait and see, but we will be back live in the brew next week, hopefully. That'll be good to be back there. I'm very low. Actually, I've got none of the Anarchy Brewery cans left, so we're very dry in my household now. It's a very, very big shame. No cans in the fridge, so we need to get back to the brewery next week, at least for that.
Yeah.
Theatre Royal has them all. They have loads of cans. But, Reese, hopefully we'll be back in the brewery next week, and we will be joined by a special guest as well, so stay tuned for that. Thanks, Keg. Cheers for your time tonight. Hope you get rid of that COVID so we can be in person filming next.
Me too. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I should be rid of it by the end of the week. So yeah, by this time next week should be all good to go.
And if you do want to stock up on Anarchy Brewery cans, war beer, and all the rest of the delicious flavours they have, you can scan that QR code in the top corner of your screen, or you can go to the warflags.org.uk website. Cheers to them. As always, cheers to you, Keg. Cheers to the viewers. for watching live on YouTube, for listening on all audio platforms, wherever you get your podcasts. We will be there. Thanks again, everyone, and see you very soon. And enjoy yourself.